Microdose, yeah. Microdose. Microdose. Microdose, dose. Microdose. Microdose, dose. Microdose. Microdose, dose.
5, 4, 3. What's good, y'all? Kush Hayes here, coming to you with the newest edition of the Microdose. I gotta say, I'm a mixed bag of emotions today, man. I'm beaming with some pride here. I'm also confused how we've never had this guest on before. Also, for the reason why he's promoting it, I'm surprised that this has not been a thing prior in all the years that I've known him. But on October 9th, that's a Sunday, the Ugly Dojo presents Kaka-Meng defending his Lucha Xtreme Championship against El Chupacabra. I just said his name. He's El Mero-Mero, half Meng, half a Mengz. How you doing, player? What's good?
Hey, what's going on, my man? Hey, what's happening, everyone? This is El Mero-Mero, hijo del carnicero, azúcar moreno, rey de los cielos, the one-man gang, Kaka-Meng, and exactly what you just said, the Lucha Xtreme heavyweight champion of the Central Valley, baby. I'm here.
This looks like a hell of a card coming up, Kaka-Meng. Like, you and I have known each other for quite a while, even before when you were not a wrestler, when you were just a rock and roll star. You hold a lot of hats like that. We'll get into that in a minute here. But what I do want to know is, tell me a little bit about this card, man. El Chupacabra. This is the first time you've ever worked against him, man. What's that feel like?
Man, it's gonna be quite the show. You know, you got a stacked show. You got the Ugly Dojo. You got the Fatus, man. You got Chupi. My God, you know,
Christina Massaro and Papa Esco. Oh shit, yeah, CBE and Brittany Wonder. Like
Brittany Wonder too. Yeah, Papo. Man, I haven't seen him in a long time. Yeah, it's gonna be stacked, man. A lot of NorCal favorites. You know, kind of a mixed bag. It's gonna be fun, man. Yeah, and then Chupi. I mean, he's a NorCal legend. He's a beast. He's an awesome human being outside of the ring. He's a one of a kind of guy. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited. Lock horns with him, tie up, do whatever we can to make some magic and send the people home happy.
How's this the first time you guys have ever faced each other?
It is. Yeah, we've never wrestled each other in any kind of situation. Mixed tag team, singles, nothing. Never once. We've shared many locker rooms, many so fun times, but yeah, it happens, man. There's so many people that you want to tango with that just for some reason doesn't happen, and then many years down the road it happens, and it's like, whoa, oh shit, finally, you know.
So, Chubi, he's got the speed, he's got the athleticism. He's also, as we discussed, he's a veteran, so he might be moving just a little bit slower. What can you expect to give El Chupacabra?
I'm going to give him a lot of intensity, my friend. I'm going to give him a lot of my power. You know, some people, they kind of forget Kaka-Meng. You know, yeah, he's kind of a comedic wrestler. You know, kind of a throwback to La Parka with the shenanigans. But people forget Kaka-Meng's kind of strong. You know, Kaka-Meng can throw down. He's slammed many big guys in the scene, and he's throwing it down with some big cats. And Chupi's going to get bounced around at the Colonial Theater. That's for sure.
Tickets will be on sale at the door and only at the door. No pre-sale. $20 for adults, $15 for the kids. The doors will open at 4:30, and the show will start prompt at 5 p.m. Kaka-Meng, you and I, again, we've known each other since before you were a wrestler, man. In fact, you and I used to hang out or bump into each other at the Kezar pub in San Francisco with young Caesar Black, young Isaiah. We're all just marking out over what we were watching, sharing pictures. Yeah, it was a great time. And then Fog City became a thing, dude. And at one point, you came up to me and Dom, and you're just like, "Hey, man, what can I do to get into this business?" And I gave you one piece of advice. I don't know if you remember this or not. We had tossed back a few, and maybe in my story, there's an American flag behind me with an eagle on my shoulder. But yeah, I was just like, if you choose this one set of initials, like, they've got the resume, they've got the background, they've got the trainers, and they have put so many people to WWF, then WWE, and but it's an assembly line. But if you go to this other set of initials, well, the classes are a little smaller, but that means the training is going to be a little more intimate. They're going to spend more time with you, and you ultimately need to decide what it is you want to do here. And I feel like you took that advice to heart. What can you tell me
Oh yeah.
about your experience getting into the squared circle?
Yeah, I met you and Dom through my brother Isaiah, the Ice Cat, great musician, and we're all from the Bay Area. We're all
Mhm.
city boys and stuff like that. And yeah, the Kezar Pub is still to this day a really cool spot. I haven't been to a show at the Kezar Pub because I live way up north now, but
Mhm.
I mean that place used to get slammed for wrestling shows and
Mhm.
UFC shows and just the vibe being on Hate Street, being an Irish bar, on Hate Street. Man, it just had so many foot traffic, and yeah, so random bumping into just so many wrestlers there at Kezar all the time on Sundays, watching wrestling shows. Yeah, I've never experienced something like that, and watching shows live with a bunch of wrestling fans. I got to meet a lot of people that are hardcore indie wrestling fans and people
Mhm.
that are in the indie wrestling game. And then that's how I came across you guys. And yeah, I remember you guys were also starting up Fog City Wrestling, and
Mhm.
you guys were running that. And I believe maybe Dom was it. It's like, hey, come to a show. We need people helping out. And my brother and I we were trying to get our
Yeah,
foot in
that's
the
right.
door any which way we could. Yeah.
You guys did
And I
security at the
remember
first
Dom.
show. That's right.
Yeah, we did a few shows for you guys,
Okay.
but it was there at the
Oh, the cell
uh,
space.
cell space. Yes, yeah, we that's where we used to do the security for you guys, and I love it, man. Because going back to those days, all those guys that were on the shows, I've shared many locker rooms with them. I've wrestled some of them in my 9 years. Yeah, going on 9 years wrestling. It's crazy, Chupi used to be on the shows.
Mhm.
Dylan Drake, Chicano Flame, the
Mhm.
Scum, all the Samoans, Black Pearl,
Mhm.
the Tank. What was the Samoan Tank?
Oh, a loaf of the Samoan
Hello.
tank.
Yes, dude, that
Yeah,
guy was
great
something, and
dude.
that's a specimen right there. And
Mhm.
then yeah, being chummy with Fatu, all through you guys, all through Fog City, it was quite an experience. I met Raquero Del Diablo there, like a lot of guys that I would end up, being in on shows with later down the road. It's a hell of an experience, man. And I can't thank you guys enough for giving me and my brother and our other friends. We would bring other friends along just so they can get on the show free. But we'd be like, hey, you gotta watch the door, you gotta do security. And
Mhm.
they didn't care because they wanted to watch wrestling, at the end of the day. That's what they wanted to experience, man. And the indie wrestling scene in NorCal and San Francisco, it's popping, man. And I'm so thankful that I got to meet you guys. But I went to big time wrestling. I ended up going to big time wrestling. I was going to college. I was working, just doing everything I can to keep a dollar in my pocket. But
Mhm.
at the same time, I wanted to learn the game. I wanted to be a part of it. And I know that you got to pay to play. And uh, big time wrestling offered me and my brother a good deal, flat out, no BS. They were just like, hey, and you put in what you get. If you put in, the 3 days a week training with us, it'll show forth in the long run. You'll be on shows by the end of the year or whatnot. And
Mhm.
I don't know. I felt really confident, doing it and going to Kirk White's school and training under Jason Styles and learning the ropes through the big time wrestling banner, But I love APW and I respect them, and I
Mhm.
almost think about it now and then. What if I chose to go through the APW boot camp rather than the big time wrestling academy? I don't know where things would be for me, as
Yeah.
far as like gig wise. Would I
Mhm.
be more? I probably would be on all the APW gigs, possibly. I'm a good hand. I like to work. I like
Mhm.
to entertain. At the end of the day, it's all about giving the fans the entertainment, the pleasure of a wrestling experience, that they won't get at a WWE show. And that's what I think indie wrestling's about. It's that smaller crowd, personal,
Mhm.
give back to everybody, make those small connections and get them to come back to the next gig.
That's what's up.
So,
Did
yeah.
was it a full year before you made your debut, or like how long
Well,
from the start to?
yeah, man. I almost killed my own momentum going into it because originally I became a student of big time wrestling in 2008.
Okay.
So I went a whole year training at big time wrestling alongside Pam, aka Bailey, aka Davina Rose. And we had a great school. We had a great class. But somewhere down the line, I got in trouble, get the law,
Oh.
and I had to kind of regroup and refocus on my personal self. And right before I made my debut, or was supposed to debut in 2009, I kind of put the brakes on my own wrestling path, and I had to just clean myself up, go to school, get a career, get focused. And I took nearly 3 years away from pro wrestling. So it was
wow.
2000. Yeah, it sucked, man. But I really wanted to. I always had the envision of going back to pro wrestling, big time wrestling. I always had that in my mind that once I find, what I want to do with my life and get a car and not depend on people. Because, as a pro wrestler, man, you got to get around some way, somehow. And you can't get around without a car. I hate to say it. I mean, you could, you buddy around, but there might be gigs where it's just you, and you don't have your homies to drive you around. And hey, your homies don't want to drive you around, to be honest,
No, they
so
don't.
I wanted to do this on my own, and I've always been self-made, bro. And I wanted to be able to have my own, wheels, have my gear ready, have a career, have a job, be able to pay for everything that I need to. And when I came back to big time wrestling, man, I came back fully focused, ready to rumble, and Jason Styles was always along in my ear because he was not only the trainer at big time wrestling, but we also developed a band along the way, a punk band called the Five Fingers of Death.
Oh,
not Death Punch, but Death. And we toured around with like DI. We did shows with Fear, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, DRI. We got around Agent Orange. We played gigs with Agent Orange. Yeah, and so it was cool, man. During that three years, Jason still was in my ear. Like, I'd love for you to train. And he would show me moves, and he would give me the skinny on what's going on at the school. And every now and then I'd pop in at shows at Kirk and show face and say, hey, I'm still interested. It's just, I have to, it's almost like, someone's like trying to get clean and sober. And they're like, I'm going to do it. Once I do it, I'm going to come back. And then once you fix yourself, you're there and you're gung ho. You're more focused. You're more determined. You're more well balanced. And since then, since 2013, man, I haven't stopped, bro. I haven't stopped. Gigging. I had a gig last night for East Bay Pro. I'm always every weekend. I'm always working a show, and I'm really thankful, for many things that I'm able to do that. But I'm very thankful that I stuck to my guns, man. And I said, I'm going to get my life in order, and I'm going to go back and wrestle, and I'm going to make somewhat of indie name, in the scene, at least, as much as I can. And I haven't stirred away or been deterred from that. So I'm thankful, I'm really thankful, Plus, I ain't gonna lie, NorCal, man, and California, and they have the best fans, bro. They have really hardcore, amazing wrestling fans, and that kind of sucks you in, to keep doing this, man. It's not about the wins, losses, and all that other junk. It's about just the fan experience that you can give to them. You turn someone's day from a bad day to a good day, just by them going to a show, you acknowledging them, you doing something that pops them, and that's what I get off on the most is entertaining the fans, the people, at the end of the day, we all have that same love and passion for this sport. And I think that's what kind of binds us together, as cliche and corny that might sound. I am very confident. Confidence is key sometimes, it makes you and breaks you sometimes, I think, but in wrestling, confidence is almost everything, man. You got to be confident in yourself, because you're not confident in yourself, the people will smell that, and they will be like, this guy's not, he or she, they don't believe themselves, I won't buy into them either. But you can definitely rest assured that I'm fully confident that I'm going to bring my best A game when I wrestle the Chupacabra on October 9th at the Colonial Theater. That's going to be I'm damn for sure that's going to be what's up,
I can't wait.
So Chupi, if you're listening out there, hope you're getting ready and training as hard as El Mero-Mero is, because brother, you're going to get tossed around,
You were teamed up with a future female Hall of Famer, Y1 El Mero-Mero, La Mero-Mero, La Mero-Mero, Miss Thunder Rosa.
Oh, well,
She's now
yeah.
like the biggest thing in the world through AEW. Was she through BTW or just that she just would come through on it like?
So yeah, she trained at APW. She
Oh,
was an
word.
APW girl, yeah, from day one. Uh somehow she met, through, Sparky and everyone, but
Mhm.
she was one of Roland's last students when he was alive. And I met Thunder Rosa in Yuba City, California, wrestling for WCWF, West Coast Wrestling Federation, up in Yuba.
Okay.
John Cooper's wrestling promotion. I don't know if he's
Okay.
still running, or is it Ryan Piles, but those two guys were running WCWF. And I met Thunder Rosa faithfully one evening as I was making my entrance. I was wrestling a former big time wrestling wrestler named Victor Sterling, and this girl, from the moment I came out, just wouldn't shut up. She was loud and proud and as Mexican as she can be. And the whole thing started because, I'm Salvadoran, baby. Yo soy de Salvador, and I represent my country to the fullest, from the colors I wear to the ring, to my jackets, to my flag. I come out with the flag. And this night, I happen to be in full gear with the track jacket that says El Salvador. And, Thunder Rosa is 100% Mexican
Mhm.
and proud of it. And the minute I came out, it was just a big, oh, hell no. Who's this guy? Blah, blah, blah. Go back to El Salvador. Boo, boo, boo. Mexico. Viva Mexico. So I just was like, hey, you know what? This is perfect. I don't know who this woman is. I don't know if she's a plant. Um, I just heckled her back, man. Like complete, like I forgot about the match. I
Oh,
could care less about the match. It was just that yappity yap Chihuahua in the front row, just smacking her gums, talking crap about my country, to the point where it was like, it may have, I'll put it like this. She cost me the match, I got distracted. I got distracted. I fell through her trap of just, her evil, you know, tantric, taunts at my way. And I said, screw that, So afterwards, long story short, I bumped into her at a restaurant that was there in town. And she didn't recognize me because I'm very incognito. Once the show's done, I kind of hide my hair. I kind of put my hair up in a hat. I don't want to. I don't like people saying, "Hey, that's Kaka-Meng." Oh, hey, I know. I like to kind of just incognito and whatnot. So I saw her at the restaurant. She had no idea who I was, but her husband Brian totally recognized me. He goes, "Hey, isn't that guy in the first match?" And they turn around and they're looking at our table. I'm like, "Oh shit." And before you know it, she's like, "Oh my gosh." She's like, she was trying to say, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be all that like that." I was like, "No, no." I was like, please, that was what that's wrestling's all about. It's the heckling, the fan participation, give and take. I mean, if she didn't heckle and if she didn't give me that kind of attention, I feel like, hey, I lost. I didn't do my job as an entertainer, to get those boos and cheers. And we just had a great conversation. And she told me she was training at APW. She was in the boot camp, and I wished her all the best. And, I gave her my contact. I said, hey, if you ever need some kind of advice, or if you ever, graduate and want a gig, hit me up. I can talk to Kirk, and I don't have any pull. Like back then, I didn't have any stroke at all.
Mhm.
But through Kirk White, I could be like, hey, we can use this girl as a in a match, or put her against another girl. And so we networked, and a couple weeks later, I was bestowed the opportunity to wrestle the Honky Tonk Man
Oh,
at
shit.
at Big Time Wrestling, yeah, in 2013. And that was March of 2013. And as the weeks were kind of culminating to my match, I was thinking of all sorts of ideas just to pop the crowd, just to get a reaction, man, because that's all I
Mhm.
live for, is the reaction. I always tell people, for me, wrestling is kind of the number 3 on the list. First is my interaction with the crowd. How well do they receive me? you know, and the wrestling's kind of an afterthought, you know, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes saying that, but that's just how I personally feel when it comes to myself. You know, wrestling, you know, it's there, you know, and it'll be there, but it's more of, you know, the interaction with the crowd to bring them back to the next time, and then they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and so on and so on. And man, I had this crazy idea. I was like, I've always grown up an '80s wrestling fan, and Macho Man, Miss Elizabeth, and Macho Man Sherry Martel, you know, stuck out like a sore thumb. And I was thinking, gosh, man, Kaka-Meng needs a valet. You know, he needs a side piece to just, you know, add to the intensity of what Kaka-Meng is all about. And I pitched the idea to Kirk, and I said, I got an idea. I got this girl in my mind. I just got to give her a call. And he's like, yeah, sure, call her, you know, bring her in, you know, whatever. Kirk had a certain suave to him where, you know, some people would throw ideas out and he'd be like, I don't think so. And then with certain guys, he'd be like, you know, that might work. And I had it all planned out, so he couldn't say no. And I called Melissa, aka Thunder Rosa, and she was like, yeah, that'd be awesome. You know, I think I'm free that night. And I was like, perfect. You know, and as the days were leading up, I told her, hey, I want you to wear, you know, a blue dress. I want you to, you know, come out, you know, wearing blue and white, you know, represent El Salvador. And of course, you know, it's like a sacrilegious because she's Mexican. She's like, oh my gosh, if my people see me, you know, they're going to be like, what the hell's wrong with you? You know, but it all worked out. And my God, man, we got to the event. We were ready. And literally like an hour before the show, Honky Tonk Man, total diva. He was so against Thunder Rosa being in my corner. He was like, she's going to steal my heat. She's going to steal everything. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's just going to be outside. She's going to do the occasional, you know, pull on your, you know, neck and choke you and maybe, you know, a lighthearted slap here or there. But at the end, I was pitching the idea, you know, you get us back, you knock us both, you know, together. We bump heads, something. You could slap her, you toss her out of the ring, then you hit me with your finish, you know, you go home happy. He was like, nope. So he agreed to at least have Thunder Rosa walk me to the ring, escort me, take my jacket off, and then head back to the locker room. We were so crushed, me and Thunder Rosa. We were like so crushed. We're like, dude, this is so not how this match was supposed to go down, you know? And Honky just rejected that idea. And, you know, we kind of turned a negative into a positive because we figured, you know, it's Honky's show, whatever. We'll get around. You know, we'll make it work. We'll just take our sweet ass time going to that ring. You know, we'll milk every minute of it. And we did, man. I mean, there's footage of it on my YouTube, and there's video footage of it online. But man, I mean, we milked that whole theme song. We had our dance. We got the kids involved. She twirled around. We danced around. You know, she got in the ring. She presented me like I was some, you know, Maserati, you know, car, man. She like walked around. She really made it elegant. And it's a shame that she didn't stick around for the whole match. But that was Honky's idea. And, you know, afterwards I said, don't trip. I said, it's just the beginning of many more opportunities, you know. And Kirk White, he fell in love with her. You know, he thought she was great. He tried to like sway her to come train at Big Time. He's like, oh, you should come train with us. But she, you know, she was like, no, I appreciate you, but I got to train with, you know, my school. And I was like, Kirk, no, don't do that. You know, she'll be back, you know. And yeah, she did for like 2.5 years. She was in my corner. We did a lot of fun angles for Kirk White and Big Time Wrestling. And, you know, and it was a shame when she told me she was going to Japan. I was kind of heartbroken because I was like, no, you know, there goes my valet, there goes my centerpiece, you know. But I was so proud, you know, when she got called to go to Japan and do Stardom. And I knew from then, I was like, that's just the beginning. I told her from day one, you're going to be a star. I straight up told her that. And she can quote it herself. I said, I smell money. I think you are money. I think once people get to see you, they're going to love you. And I'm going to be the afterthought. It became almost like Mark, Mero, and Sable in a way at Big Time Wrestling, because when I would come out, I mean, I got a pop as a heel, but man, Thunder Rosa, boy, did she get a pop. Just showing up, you know, and I'm just like, damn, you know. But I didn't, you know, it's okay because it's what wrestling's about, man. You know, these people, they're gonna choose who they want to cheer for and who they're gonna want to boo for, and that's, I'm all for it. But my gosh, when she went to Japan, that was just the beginning. Then she got Lucha Underground, and you know, we know the rest from there. You know, but as for myself, I had to regroup. I had to go back to the drawing board. I had to find something that could keep me, you know, kind of relative. Or okay, Thunder's gone. What's Kaka-Meng going to do next? And the next thing I got was my buddy Rich Armis, who used to train under Woody Farmer and Shane Cody under the old Bay Area wrestling banner, and he was the heartthrob Rich Armis for a long time, and he was in like a well-known cat like Mike Modest and you know, a lot of those guys that came from that early 90s, you know, Bison Smith type thing. He was just more of a he was a trainee under Woody Farmer, and he had left the biz back in like 94, 95, and showed up one day at a big time wrestling practice. And right away when I saw him and I met him, I mean, the guy's a stud. He's like at that time, he was like in his late, you know, mid to late 40s and stuff, but the guy was jacked to the gills, great tan, dark. You know, I was like, oh, this is it. This is going to be my, so I went from the Sherry Martel phase to my Diesel phase, you know, like Sean, he had Sherry and Thunder was my Sherry. And then when I met Rich, and Rich was getting back into wrestling, and I told Styles and I told Kirk, I was like, I need this guy to be my second, to be my bodyguard, to be my enforcer. And he, I mean, he really took that job seriously, man. I mean, he got really in shape, like more in shape, and he got really dedicated to training. And then he became El Guerrero. That was his gimmick. That was the gimmick I gave him. I said, you know, you're going to be, you're a warrior, man. You got the look of a warrior. You got a shaved mohawk. I mean, he's a stud. And from then on, he became El Guerrero, and he became very popular himself at big time wrestling. It was just like, I brought him in my camp, and we just flourished, man. We became a tag team. We had a lot of good matches. We had a classic match against Rikishi and the Black Pearl. You know, going back to my first ever wrestling experience was meeting Black Pearl doing security. And now here I am in I believe it was like 2018. I wrestled Black Pearl, and he remembered me from Fog City. He goes, oh my gosh, hey bro. And he was always cordial and very nice to me and my boys. Well, because we got him free beer all the time.
Okay, there you go.
But he remembered me. He remembered me, you know. And sharing a match with the three of them. It was Black Pearl. This guy Joe Parisi. He's like I think he's a relative of the Black Pearl. And then Rikishi. You had Rikishi there. And then that night it was Devin Danger. It was El Guerrero, and it was myself, along with our manager Missy Carlisle. And what a match we had that night for Kirk White. And it was just an amazing show. But going back to El Guerrero, bro, I mean, he's a stud. He's old school, you know. He's just a beat your body down. Like, he just beats your ass, you know, and no real fancy moves, you know. He knows how to talk, you know, on the mic. He knows how to carry himself. He knows how to intimidate people, you know. And I was so proud to have him on the team, and he's still on the team. We're actually going to be working together for the anniversary big time show on September 30th at the New York Pavilion. So I can't wait to team up with him again and keep that ball rolling, you know. But you got to reinvent yourself. And when Thunder left, you know, I found the next best thing, you know, and he's definitely it. And I'm proud to call him a friend. I'm proud to call him, you know, one of my close ones. And all through wrestling, you know, you meet some interesting people out there, man. You know, and I'm very blessed for all the people I get to meet.
Okay.
I have a top dog list, man. You know, like all the guys, Kratos, Carlos, you know, Dutra, the Scum, you know, they're all badasses. Chic, you know, they're all people that I admire, and I'm like, man, I'd like to just get schooled by them and work them one-on-one, or any situation, even a tag match. El Guerrero, myself versus the Scum, they're great. They're my kind of wrestlers, man. They're like, they got a combination of so much technical finesse, and then they're such brawlers at the same time. And that's like my style. I like to get technical, and I like to chain, and I like to do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, man, I like to throw fists, I'm a southpaw, and I can throw, with my right really good. I'm versatile, man. And those guys, when I see them on shows and they're putting the beat down on people, I'm like, man, I wish I was in that match, fucking wrestling those guys and just selling for them and then slugging them back and showing them that I got power too, And yeah, man, those guys, they're all savages, So my respects to all those guys. Out of respect, definitely would love to wrestle all of them. And even more guys. I have so many top dog guys on the list that when they were in NorCal, would have liked to have, been in some kind of match against like Cobb. I like Cobb's wrestling style. He's just a straight shooter, and I would have liked to work that guy. He's a cool dude, outside the box as well. But yeah, man, that's wrestling for you. Little sooner or later, eventually, as long as you stay in the biz, you will probably come across those guys, on a card. Hey, you're wrestling this guy, hey, you're wrestling that guy. Oh, snap, all right, cool. I got to get my promo ready. I got to get my mindset ready. I got to get my body ready. I got to adapt what their styles are, watch their tape. People may not realize this, but man, when I get told, hey, you're working this guy or that person, I'll find their matches on YouTube just so when I meet them and we go chop it up, whatever, like I already have a hindsight of what's going to go down. I like to go in, full knowing, hey, this is their style. This is what they do. How can you compromise and match their style? Like that's how I do it, with everybody to this very day, which is cool. And I don't tell them too much. Sometimes I'll tell them, oh yeah, I seen you hit that move. Cool. Or sometimes I suggest, hey, you do this move still? Yeah, cool. Oh, they appreciate it because they're like, oh, you know that I do that move? Oh yeah, I watch you. I tell people I watch your matches. I know what's going down. I don't like going into something without any knowledge. I don't want to be ignorant. I like to know what I'm getting myself into and stuff. So, Choopy, I'm watching your tape. Don't want you to think that Kaka-Meng's not studying any of your matches, because I am, buddy.
That's what's up. You're going to find the Lucha Xtreme Champion defending his title against the aforementioned Chupacabra at the Colonial Theater, 3522 Stockton Blvd in Sacramento, California. That's going to be Sunday, October 9th. $20 at the door, $15 if you're a child. Doors open at 4:30. Show starts at 5. It's a double main event. You got the Ugly Dojo versus Toko Uso. You got Vinny and Massaro versus Papa Esco. That's going to shake the foundation on its own. You got the Lucha Xtreme title, Kaka-Meng and Chupacabra. Battle of the Giants, Drake Frost against Paul Isadora. El Flaco Loco versus Levi Shapiro, who's been very silent throughout this whole conversation. We could have been talking an hour about Levi his own.
He's Brittany a great Wonder
versus Christina Von Eerie. It all goes down at the Colonial Theater Sunday, October 9th in Sacramento, California at the Colonial Theater. For more Kaka-Meng, you can find him on Twitter and Instagram at Kaka-Meng for you. And also, if you want to hear some of his music, check out the SoundCloud under the Mengz with a Z.
That's right.
Am I missing anything?
No, my friend, just missing those tickets to get to the Colonial, man. That's going to be the big one. I can't wait, brother. I can't wait.
I do some stuff around here, folks. You can check out me with friend of the family, Mike Fish, every Wednesday. It's the best part of Wednesdays. We do a thing called the Waffle Box Podcast. It's on YouTube, but you can also find it on the BosNet.family. And then I'm going to be on a UK podcast, the Official Cheers podcast, where nobody knows your name. They've been guests on the show before many times. They invited me on their show. Finally, we're going to talk about the pilot episode of Cheers, which will celebrate its 40th anniversary, September 30th, or sometime around then. Otherwise, for Lucha Xtreme Champion Kaka-Meng, I've been Kush Hayes. You've been you.
Microdose, microdose, microdose. Microdose, microdose, yeah, microdose.
From the BosNet family.
He was like, she's gonna steal my heat.